Ebola has returned after the World Health Organization declared an end to the epidemic.
This is the epicenter of the outbreak. In a city of 1 million, almost 50 new cases are reported every day.
We turn to the Democratic Republic of Congo in Central Africa.
This includes 461 deaths, and so far 258 people have recovered.
Ebola is a virus. A virus is a very small thing. A bit of RNA or DNA and a few proteins.
We are entering the world of Ebola, where no faint heart dares tread.
Diagnosed with Ebola in the United States has died of Ebola in a Dallas hospital, bringing more
The latest on the Ebola outbreak in West Africa, which is moving faster than efforts to contain it.
Barely a week after the last outbreak was declared over, new cases of Ebola.
In the Democratic Republic of Congo have declared a new outbreak of Ebola. They confirmed 2 cases of
against one of the world's most dreaded diseases, Ebola. There's a deadly outbreak in Africa. Experts from the U.S. Centers for Disease.
A single tear runs down a child's face as he remembers his mother. He tells me she was preparing his milk when her headaches began. Later the bleeding started, then swiftly came death.
Hello everyone, my name is Zilong. I'm a Senior Program Officer at the International Development Research Centre based here in Ottawa. We are a Canadian government agency. We are a donor agency that focuses on research for development. Our primary mandate is to fund scientific research to tackle major development challenges, and that research is led by researchers from developing countries. And one of the projects that we are supporting currently is to deal with the Ebola outbreaks that are currently happening. Ebola as one of the major global health emergencies and major public health crises that are affecting vulnerable populations in our school, where I focused on infectious diseases that can be spread from animals to people and their implications for global health. And when I arrived at IDRC, that was the work that I focused on, looking at zoonotic diseases or pandemic kind of diseases like Ebola, and supporting research to try to better prevent and control diseases like Ebola. We know that Ebola is one of the most dangerous and devastating pathogens in the world. We know that a number of years ago in 2014, there was a massive outbreak of Ebola in West Africa, which claimed many lives and cost millions of dollars to economies in West Africa, and it was declared to be one of the most severe and significant public health emergencies, public health crises since the discovery of HIV. Significantly due to a Canadian innovation, the vaccine that was proven to be effective and safe for use to prevent Ebola and its transmission to vulnerable peoples. That was a vaccine that was developed and discovered here in Canada at the National Microbial Lab in Winnipeg, under Public Health Agency of Canada. So what did we do as a Canadian government, and what did we do at IDRC? When the West African Ebola epidemic happened, Canada contributed around $110 million in humanitarian funding and aid, and part of that included funding towards research. And this is where IDRC came in. We supported research to actually test the vaccine because it was considered to be experimental at the time, and we weren't quite sure if it would be safe and effective to prevent Ebola. So IDRC supported developing country researchers and Canadian researchers to undertake clinical trials of the vaccine to see if it was safe and effective. And it actually was found to be safe and effective. That work was published in groundbreaking studies in The Lancet, where it was showed that it was effective, and it was actually found to be instrumental, I think, in helping to end the epidemic in West Africa. We also know, if you've been following the news recently, that there are newer outbreaks of Ebola in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and that is research that is something that we're trying to address head on, additionally with research funding that IDRC is providing. So what are we doing? We are supporting Canadian and African researchers to try to better understand why are we seeing the outbreaks in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. What are some ways in which we can better prevent and control these outbreaks in ways that are safe and effective and ethical and sustainable? And those projects are ongoing right now. The type of work that we support on Ebola is reflective of what we do at IDRC, particularly on major global health issues like Ebola. We also work on a number of other global health challenges, but it's always trying to fund and research leaders from developing countries. Our mandate is to support those researchers because they are the ones facing these challenges head on, and so they are the best place to be able to understand what are some interventions and solutions in meaningful ways that they can better improve global health. So that's who we are at IDRC. It's something that we're learning the lessons of what we've done from Ebola and applying it to other areas. We're also trying to take stock of other global health and development challenges as we continue into the future.